Good morning, everybody. So, I'm butt naked, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. In fact, back in the early and mid 90s, I was a nude model. I worked at Sheridan College in the arts department, and I modeled nude for the fine arts and animation. And I did that for about 3 years. The reason why I did it, at the time I was working in landscaping, and here in the north we get pretty cold winters, so at a certain point landscaping gets shut down for a few months in the winter, and so I wanted something to carry me through those times, and being an artist myself, I decided to do nude modeling. And you know, there was a couple of reasons for doing that. It was just a curiosity on my part to sort of face my own fears and just stand naked in front of a bunch of people. You know, it's like one of those bad dreams where you're naked in public and you know, kind of freaking out there. So I just wanted to face that. Another reason for doing it was because it was a great way for me to get an education, like in the arts. I already had a university education. I majored in philosophy, minored in English. Yeah, that will really get you a job, right? But but I didn't have an arts education, and at that time, being an artist, I was kind of poor. Even though, you know, I was working in landscape and all that, it wasn't the most lucrative job. It definitely wasn't like being the CEO of a bank or anything like that. Far from it. I mean, I loved the work. It was very creative. It satisfied my my creative hunger at that time, and it kept me fit. Had a nice tan, and so, you know, that too, being fit from working hard all summer long or during the warm season, I wasn't too uncomfortable, you know, bearing it all. And no, guys, I'm not, I don't got some serious equipment going on downstairs there. I would never make it in the porn industry. I mean, you ever see those guys? They are like monsters. That's why I don't like watching porn. It's not because I think it's wrong, which, you know, I do think it's a distortion of sexuality and it's exploitive. I'll leave that for another video, though. I'll talk about that in another video. But I just feel inadequate. These guys split women in half for a living. Anyhow, back to modeling. So yeah, I mean, getting a free education, because Sheridan College, this was the one out in Oakville, in the arts department, had an amazing library with great resources in the area of fine art and of graphic design and advertising and all of that. And I utilize it in between each modeling session. There, you know, there could be a couple of hours of time, and I would just spend it all in the library studying. So I was really just soaking in all the information I could possibly acquire. And then just being in the class, even though I was the model, it was, you know, a learning experience. I listened to what the professor said. I paid attention to what the students were doing to improve their skills, and I applied all of that in my own practice as an artist. But yeah, I mean, probably the most embarrassing time and the most fearful time was the first session. After that, it was no big deal. I didn't know what to expect. I had absolutely no experience at this. I go into a classroom. This was for the fine arts, so it was a one pose, 3 hours, and it was a stand-up pose. And so I take off my clothes, and the first thing I notice, the room is really cold. And guys, you know what happens when you're in a cold environment and you're naked. Stuff starts to shrink. I mean, my willy went inverted on me. I suddenly had a vagina. My penis turned into a vagina. It was embarrassing. But anyways, I wasn't about to bail out then. I got into my pose, and I'm trying to do some cool stand-up pose, like a, GQ kind of guy thing with a vagina, and I had to lean to one side, and a lot of weight on my left leg, and within half an hour, there's pins and needles running up all through the side of my body there. And before I knew it, I had no feeling in my left leg, and I still had a vagina. And in fact, I noticed that when the students were getting down to the detail of my anatomy, they're all squinting like that. And in fact, one guy even was using a magnifying glass. Just kidding. But it was a pretty humiliating moment for me. It was like a bad dream that I just couldn't wake up from. But I got through it. And at the end of the session, the professor came up to me and said, "Oh, by the way, if you feel cold, you can always use the floor heaters." Oh, well, thanks. Now you tell me, right? But that was not an ongoing problem when I was doing sessions, major shrinkage. What was actually even a bigger problem and challenge was arousal. I mean, I'm in college. What is college populated with? A lot of beautiful young women. Barely legal, beautiful young women, and especially in the arts department. And there I was in one class. I swear the whole class was nothing but beautiful, gorgeous, like just stunning college girls. And there I am, butt naked in a semi-reclined position, and things are starting to happen. I'm in trouble here. In fact, I'm really getting concerned because that is just like an unspoken code with models that you just don't get an erection. You just don't let that happen. No arousal, you got to keep that baby relaxed. And so, I had to do something here. I had to do something drastic to just keep things under control. And I figured it out. It just like, bang on it, hit me. Think morbid thoughts, because sex is really 90%, it's all in your head, right? So that's what I did. I started thinking about violence, like war and men going to battle and getting mutilated and killed, and plane crashes and all sorts of disasters, whatever it took. Just think morbid thoughts. And that was it. That cured me. I had no problem with arousal after that, and I didn't notice all of those pretty little skirts in the classroom there. So yeah, that was the biggest challenge. Actually, if you're ever considering, I would even encourage you to try, if you want to try something different and make a little bit of money at the same time, go into modeling for the arts. It's not as easy as you think. It just to sit there reclined in a pose for 3 hours, you realize how even when you're sitting completely still, the body is always kind of shifting and moving. It never really is in a static state. And to try to keep it static is counter to what the body wants to do, and you will start to feel aches and pains, and things will start to go numb on you over a period of time. And in the animation class, that was challenging in a different way. We would do a lot of short poses, like even as short as 10 seconds. There was one case where I had to do these 10-second poses that would ultimately mimic me doing the motion of walking from one end of the stage to the other. So if you looked at one of the students' series of drawings of each 10-minute pose, you put them all together and flip through them, you should get this smooth transition of me walking across the stage. Well, walking is something we do all the time. We never think about it. But here's the interesting thing. Once you're aware of your walking and you're consciously attempting to take a correct walking step that would produce a smooth transition from point A to point B, you suddenly forget how to walk. You are like, your brain just completely shuts up. It's interesting. So that was my experience as modeling. I had a great time. I got a free education, and that's really what I want to emphasize here. Like, it's great if you've got the resources to go to the finest colleges and universities out there. But if you're disadvantaged, you just things in life just didn't play out in your favor, and you really want an education, there's always a way. There's always a way of doing it. Don't let anything stop you. If you want that education, get it. You can get it, whatever it takes. I honestly, after 3 years of modeling, I got myself an arts education that I used with me for years afterwards. So that's it. That's all. I'm going to go get dressed now because I'm going out for a run, and I don't think running in my birthday suit would not be a good idea. Eh? Anyways, it's a beautiful Sunday morning. It's going to be a hot one today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy life. Be adventurous. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this video and me being butt naked here talking to you. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Grassroots Vegan. Take care.